How to retire a millionaire in 20 years. Well, I wrote this book for a 3 to 5 year plan, so I would prefer let's do it in 3 to 5, which means you're going to have to think about where you're working. You can stay employed, but you have to add corporate life. The other things I want to talk about is how you use through corporate life your 401k, convert once you leave, if you do leave corporate life, how do you convert and self-direct your own 401k? And how do you set up Roths? How do you set your kids into it? And what is the structure for using a qualified plan so you can have that money in 20, 30, 40 years? The earlier you start, the better. So why start a business at 18 years old? So if you want to say retire in 20 years, retire in 3 years, 5 years, whatever your goal is, I think the greatest asset you'll ever build in your life, and I've heard it from every entrepreneur, is your core operating business. I just talked to a gentleman. I know he's going to join our table. He has a commercial cleaning company. I love commercial cleaning companies. Why did I build Integrated Wealth? Because after being in the Rich Dad Poor Dad team for 5 years and being the master distributor of their game, I saw a massive gap, which is no one's integrating the team. No one's telling those teams, those financial people who does your corporate structure. Most of you go to your Secretary of State and do it cheap and on your own, and it's not right. Or you go to LegalZoom, again, clicking buttons, no advice, not right. No one, hardly anyone does corporate compliance documentation right. There are people, literally estate lawyers, who say that your state's not a probate state. Completely wrong. Every place in the world has probate, so you don't want to give where you live 40, 50% of your money. And then you have life insurance, you have funding, you have credit, you have so many various people that you need. And here you are standing in the middle going, I don't know how to put this together, and I don't know. And a lot of our clients come, they're fairly successful, right? A lot of them, they'll come and they'll say, I've gone as far as I can on my own. It's time that I put a team together to truly integrate. Am I doing this right? And how do I now create a legacy for my family? So I left corporate life because right before the Rich Dad Poor Dad team, I worked at Chevron for about 5 years. Right? So I started as a contractor, had to become an employee because I couldn't afford the helicopter insurance, had a 401k and all of that. And so those people who stayed behind at Chevron when I jumped to go work on the Rich Dad Poor Dad team, knowing that I want my own asset called a company. I want a family operating company that I can go on business trips. I can actually truly live corporate life. So I was 18 when I started my first company. It was a personal training company. That company today, obviously, it's still in existence because you don't take it down just because I'm not personal training. It became something else through a DBA, doing business as. So slowly you start building these company structures, which builds financial structure, which builds financial credit. So it's a phenomenal vehicle just to get started living corporate life and getting your entity at 18 years old. Then you want to maximize as many deductions as possible. So one of the companies that you'll own eventually will have its own 401k that is within your family. And if you self-direct it, you can buy up to 52 different assets. In self-directing IRAs, you can buy real estate, you can buy gas and oil, not a good investment because you want the depreciation. Most people that make a ton of money in their Roths or inside their 401ks, they do notes. So there's a way to use each vehicle that I need you to learn. I need you to lean in and learn. If you go to my search bar and just look up 401ks, Roths, anything in that category, I have hours and hours and hours of education. So lean in and start understanding more of this. Yes, I have a magic wand, but this isn't a done for you service. This is a done with you. It's active engagement of helping you get the things that you need and want on your own, but then me teaching you behaviorally, how do you maximize the greatest benefits? So once you start the company, as you start growing older, you start buying a house and cars and phones and everything like that, you want to maximize the deductions of 81,000 pages of U.S. tax code. It is the greatest tax code in the world. And if nothing else, we're 2025. Under this administration, it's just going to get more robust because you got entrepreneurs running this country, finally. So I, for example, Loral Langemeier, don't own a phone, because I don't need one. I do very little anything personally. I do have a personal home line that just goes with that company. That's a real estate company because that's where my home is held. And I have a another company that owns my vehicle, another company owns a different vehicle. So as you activate the code and you start growing into living corporate life, you want to use everything. Everywhere you go, you want to go on a business trip, not a vacation. How do you do all that? How do you make sure you actually take home office deductions? How do you employ your kids properly? How do you have your kids get a Roth IRA? All these things matter in your plan to become a 3, 5, or 20-year millionaire, whichever you want. But those qualified plans are a key piece of your tax strategy, because your 401k has not been taxed. You can put $69,000 depending on how your tax strategist that I assign you from our pool of experts, because I have a pool of experts in all these categories. You will be assigned as you become a client to one of these experts. If for some reason you want to change experts, then I will help you navigate to a different one. But they're all highly trained. They're highly forecasting forward. What do you want? It's not a what you did to yourself. Yeah, we're going to clean all that up. But this is a what do you want going forward. So why I left corporate life was to build the greatest asset of my life. I've made hundreds of millions of dollars inside of this company. I've taken the greatest tax code deductions by traveling to 6 of the 7 continents on business trips where my kids were employed and went with me on majority of all of them as business trips. I've owned private aviation in a company because the company, I needed to fly that way to the amount of people that needed and requested me to speak on their stages all over the world. So this is the way of life. It's not a program, it's a process and it's a lifestyle that at some point you can either stay poor and stay in a job in a fixed income and hope it all works out. You might have benefits, but you know what? I have a great benefit package. It's called an officer and director package. So I get a housing allowance, just like any other key executive. I get a housing allowance, a vehicle allowance, a technical allowance, a phone allowance. I get a wardrobe allowance. I get so many allowances that you say you have a benefit package at your job, not even close to the kind of benefit package you could put in your own life. And yes, you have to learn to make money. The hardest thing you're going to do here in integrated wealth systems, if you haven't before, is learn to make your own money. Now, before I continue on, I want you to subscribe to the channel, click that notification button. I want you here 5 days a week. It's a family-friendly channel, so please share this with your family, your friends, share it with 10 people, and binge watch. There is so much content here. I've been here for years and years producing 5 days a week content just for you and your education, but you have to lean in and consume it. It's fascinating to me when clients sign up, sign contracts, pay the one-time lifetime membership fee, and don't read 6 books. The 6 books are your textbooks of this content. You need to learn them. I'm a very manual reader. Like, I want this, not an ebook, because I want to write all over it. I want sticky notes. I want highlights. I want to know, oh, here's my list that I need to be, these are this whole list of deductions that you should have been doing. So I want the true stuff, and I want you to know it here so we can put it into your life so you own it. So if anything did happen to me, I plan on doing this to the day I walk off the planet. You want to activate this into your family. That's how legacies are created. Legacies are created because of who you're becoming and how you're leading your family to continue to make wealth building, to continue to keep your estate the way that it is. So last points I want to talk about. Why I left corporate life. I wanted the freedom. I wanted the time freedom. I wanted to grow an organization. I wanted to show that I could do it for myself, not to others. I don't compete with others. I compete with myself. And play this biggest game of my life. I want to solve the biggest problem in the world, which is the understanding of business and money, which is not taught, in my opinion. It's not taught well at all. It's not to be taught in the school systems, it's to be taught in your home. So the final point I really want to talk about and just go into a little more detail is that 401k and the self-directing. So your company will have its own 401k. Just like when I was at Chevron, I was part of their 401k. When I left, I self-directed theirs into mine, and then I had one of my companies have another one. So I have a self-directed one that left from Chevron, and I have another one that is owned by my company. I also have a Roth. And when you have a Roth, you can have a 401k Roth. That means you pay tax and then put your money in so you don't have to pay tax later. The downside of that is not tax deductible. It's straight 401k. You can put up to $69,000 in your 401k. Pre-tax, which means the deduction off your top income line. So how you use a qualified plan is what they're really called. So they're qualified because you are not the custodian. So you need a custodian to actually hold the money, take the money. So for example, if you bought a piece of real estate with some of your 401k money, the rental income would come back to the 401k. You can't touch it till later in life. The other reason I like 401ks and solo 401ks and 401k Roths and IRAs and Roth, all of that, is it's a way to keep the money in an asset class that can do well, but it keeps it away from you till later in life, so you're not tempted to spend it inside of your company. So it's just a great additional asset that I think everyone wealthy has. Real estate, they have qualified plans, they have some cryptocurrency, they have stock portfolios. I use the software. In fact, I'll give it the software I use in the link below. And the other thing I'm going to give you is the Millionaire Maker, the first 3 chapters. I want you to read the first 3 chapters, fill out the gap analysis, call our office, have a one-on-one appointment, just where you are. I mean, whether you want to be a millionaire and be done in 20 years or you want to do it in 3 to 5, the goal is yours. We know how to speed it up. Having your own asset, which is why I left corporate life, to have my own company, to then with that company use that extra money to buy other assets to create the wealth that I've had, is same thing you can do. I was a farm girl from Nebraska, made all this up, put it together so it makes it easier for you. We have the blueprint. We want you to follow it. So if you have any questions, go to askloral.com, ASKLORAL, ask a question, make a request. We'll be back tomorrow.